And good evening, good evening, good evening, good evening. Oh, I sound like Stephen Fry, just less intelligent, less gay, about a million times less rich, but he's a slag, and so are we. And that's why this is called Slags in the Dark. Welcome, everyone. Thank you for joining us. Everyone on playback as well. Great to have you here. Join us tonight for a bit of light evening entertainment, as it were. And I'm here with someone who is always good fun to have on and talk about everything with, basically. Tom, how are you?
I am wonderful, but I not that I usually self-praise myself, Sam, but I did really well to last 42 seconds without butting in after you said about Stephen Fry, because the thought in my head immediately entered, basically, could be worse. You could be sitting there sounding like Stephen Hawking. So
that would be very different. That would sound very different. That's for sure. And I'll probably say he's even more intelligent than Stephen Fry, which is not good for me. But yeah, glad to have you on, Tom. Thanks for joining. Yeah.
You're right. You're right.
Was there anything else you was going to say there in the beginning?
Oh no, nothing of value. I mean, obviously.
Nothing of value. Well, that's how we like it. We don't like anything of value. That's
you're right.
Ooh, so we're Slags in the Dark.
We are live.
We are live. Yeah, as you get notifications and stuff. That's great. Yeah, thank you everyone again for joining. Slags in the Dark. Welcome. Thursdays 8 p.m. UK time. The idea of this show, just to introduce it to everyone. This is the first proper episode. We did a light Halloween or Slagoween, as we called it last week. Just a little test episode last week. So welcome to the first episode. The point of this show is really not to talk about football. We do that enough on other shows, like the road trip with DWTT on Saturdays. Tom has his own show. We all love Leeds on Sundays. You're on other shows as well. We'll talk about that at the end. But we're going to try and avoid football in this show, talk about other stuff. And we're going to avoid generally politics as well. We try and keep up what people want to talk about in the chat when people eventually start taking more part and everything. Subjects can come up in the chat. We'll talk about that. We're going to interact with the chat, have a bit of fun with it. Avoid politics and avoid football, really. That's really the only two ground rules, and everything else, really see how it goes. I think generally we are going to be talking a lot about TV stuff, entertainment stuff, like TV, movies, stuff like that, because that's
something that in my head as well, Sam. I hope you don't mind me chipping in for a second. It's basically in my head. Obviously, I personally couldn't do this for an hour, but like the odd video game being brought up, I think may fit your remit. Could be wrong.
I was just gonna say, but glad you brought it up. I was say we'll probably jump into maybe some video games as well. Just pop in there and what's going on lately and stuff. We, might naturally just, come into our conversation. So yes, thank you very much for joining, Tom. Glad to have you as always. My partner in crime, my slag in crime, the Slagosaurus Rex, the slag in chief, Tom, as he's well known in our community. Right, so tonight we're going to kick off with two things really. They're both TV related. And they're both things here we go. There's always some idiots who come back from the past. Let's see. Brownie's going down. Okay. AP, probably someone who knows Brownie as well. We're not going to talk about any stuff like that, any personal stuff with other people and stuff. So, AP, I'm going to give you a chance. You can either take part in some other, discussion with us. If not, I'm just going to ban you. I'm sorry. That's just the way it is. I'm not going to get involved with all that crap. But anyway, that aside, let's go back to what we was going to do. So two TV-related things. Things that caught my eye today, actually. They're two trailers for TV series. And I'm going to get your views on this, Tom, because you're normally quite caught up with everything that's going on. Now, I thought, excuse me, I thought I'd start with the first trailer I saw, which was very interesting. It's a series season 5 of a very, very popular series that's been on, say, hiatus for a little while for various reasons. It's coming back now in 2025 with a 5th season, and I think it's going to be the final season as well. And it looks really good. There's trailers out now all over social media. And that's Stranger Things, Tom. Stranger Things season 5.
Oh my God!
Yes.
You know what? I'm gonna tell you something that I think might surprise you. It's probably gonna disappoint you a bit, being as like it's the first episode, first show. You know, I watched about 2 episodes of Stranger Things, and then thought I don't really get what's going on here. It
So
was
you've not seen it? You've not watched it?
I have seen it. I've seen about the first 7 episodes. Like, I understand that they were in the upside down world or whatever they called it. Like,
Yeah.
Show my fandom of this. Do you know what? My main problem with it is it's totally my fault. Is whenever I did try and watch it, I did the worst thing you do as a TV watcher. I was basically on my phone, and then I was like, "What's going on here?"
Yeah, it's one of those series you got to follow. You know, you got to keep an eye on what's going on. It's one of those. There's a lot of details in it and stuff you can't really miss. So so you've seen about 7 episodes? You haven't seen like season 2, 3, 4?
No, but don't get me wrong. Right, I know the main character is 11. Is it what a name it ends up being? Do you know? I tried watching it twice, right? Because I remember very distinctly seeing the same scene twice of she's escaped the facility and she's been holed up in, I believe it's a restaurant. I mean, surely I'm probably wrong of me expecting you to remember this because it's probably such a nothing scene in the scheme of the show. But I just remember she's been looked after in this restaurant or something by the wife and husband owner. But then it turned out the government or government security were coming for her. That's how you kind of get like she's a big deal to the government, and I think they kill the husband, leave the wife alive, something like this. Like
it's a big like government conspiracy thing, and there's this upside down world that's like the alternate reality that sort of like dictates what's going on in the world, and there's this whole town that's under threat where the underworld, the upside down world wants to take over the world basically via coming through like a portal through this town basically. And I'm not going to go through it all because you need to see it. It's actually pretty good. It's actually, I would say it's very good in my opinion, very popular. But season 5 is coming out, which will be the last season from what I definitely looks like. I think that's definitely what it will be.
The impression,
and it's basically it's the big final battle really between them and what's going on in the underworld and everything. I won't go through all the details and spoil anything, but you'll like it, and I think it's going to be big. It's going to be a big popular season, that one, I think.
Yeah, I will watch it. Do you know the main thing with me watching TV? Hello, BX Gunner.
Hello, BX. Thanks for joining me.
My main thing with watching TV show, I prefer watching them when they've ended because I want to know there's an end. It's kind of going back to what we were talking about last week. I can't remember if it was on air or not, but I don't like when I'm watching a show and it just ends, as in like Netflix can't be bothered to make any more of them. So just
HBO like done that a few times as well. Yeah,
It's like I don't want to know what the ending is, but I just want to know: does this story have a conclusive ending?
There are so many examples of that. Like you say, they're just the finances. They don't get the finance anymore, or one of the main actors can't be bothered, and they can't really figure out a way of making it continue and all of that. And there's been, there'll be long hiatuses because of strikes or whatever, or COVID or whatever, and that just completely bollockses it all and all of that. Let's see. AP, thank you for listening to what I said. You're very welcome to join us in the chat. Thank you very much for taking part. Very good question, this one. Do you think film has been destroyed by organizations like Disney? I prefer TV now, to be honest. And then he goes on to say, sadly, cinemas were like, this is very interesting, AP. You bring this up because that's a very valid topic of conversation at the moment regarding movies and TV and all that. What do you reckon, Tom?
No, I think it's a very good point. The reason I think film has been destroyed, I don't mean destroyed as in it's no longer going to exist. What I think it has done is it's created this, the best way I can put it is, how there used to be, there's loads of 20 years ago, there was This Is Football, FIFA, Pro Evolution Soccer. There was like Michael Owen World League Soccer, things like this.
Oh, that's an obscure one.
Yeah, but like that. But I mean, there's loads of obscure ones that I can't even remember. But there were like onside soccer off the top of my head. Or like
there's also that one game. There was also that one crazy game. Sorry, just to interrupt you a bit there. Mate. But there was that one game where the whole premise. I can't remember what it's called now, but early 2000s, where the whole premise of the game was just to go around and get red cards, just injure people. Do you remember that one?
I think it was called Red Card.
Yeah, I think it probably was aptly named. Yeah. Yeah, what was you going to go on about all those different game franchises? My point
with that is, over time, that has become, it's just FIFA. Or no, it's EA Sports now, but essentially, it's just FIFA, right?
EA Sports eventually EA Sports ate up all the competition,
yeah, and because there's less competition, people just go to what they know as the brand leader. But with how that pertains to what AP said with film is that basically, because Marvel, Disney are the monster brand in film now, essentially, because they either own it or they're going to own it. It creates this situation where the only way you can make money in film is actually by, can we make a reboot of something that's already made money, or can we make a sequel to something that we already know is going to make money?
Yeah, exactly. I agree with you wholeheartedly there, Tom. And my take on it as well, to add on to what you said, was that basically the advancement of streaming and the ability of people now to own very large screen home entertainment systems, which back in the day was just, you was only a billionaire or a millionaire if you had one of those. If you had a 50-inch screen in 1998, you were basically a millionaire.
You're right. I've got a laptop. Sorry to cut in, but it's a great point you're about to make. I've got a laptop. I've got a laptop screen, but 20 to 30 years ago, let's say 1994, this screen that I'm watching this show on, that we're filming, is what the house was watching their TV on. Like mum, dad, brother.
I'll tell you what, Tom, I saw a picture a few months ago, an old picture when I was moving. I was moving old stuff and that, and some of the old photo albums was in the stuff I was moving and that. And I saw an old photo of the living room of me and the family in the living room where we used to live in our flat here in Norway back in the 90s. And a TV we were looking at, because I remember, of course, the TV now vividly from the photo, but the TV we were looking at the time, I remember, was a good TV, and what we called a big TV. It was 28 inches. It was a 28-inch. I can't remember the brand of it, Hitachi or something like that. And it was one of those big, big block, real big, monsters of a TV that weighed like about, God knows how many kilos. It was really heavy to lift, but 28 inches. And I remember we were sitting there watching that quite far away from it as well. We're thinking, this is brilliant. This is brilliant. That was 28 inches. Nowadays, nowadays you've got laptops are as big as that. I mean, I exaggerate a little bit, but it's basically like the size of a laptop today, isn't it? It's crazy. But yeah, I just want to finish my point, and that was with the advent of everyone being able to afford a large screen, entertain, great sound, surround sound, all of that came through in started off in the 2000s, and just became more and more accessible as the market grew. And then came streaming services, right? Internet, the dawning of internet streaming, and then that together with home entertainment systems meant that going to the cinema wasn't as fun as it used to be, because you used to go to cinema to watch all the latest movies, and then it would take 2 years or longer to come out on TV. It would take a few months to come out on VHS or DVD, VHS back in the day, but DVD in the 90s or Blu-ray in the early 2000s.
Films in the 90s took 8 years to come out on tape.
It could take so long, and so of course everyone went to the cinema. That was the culture. That's how you watch movies, new movies, and you had all these movie franchises and that. But yeah, so now the only way you're going to a cinema now is basically it's for the big blockbusters. It's for the stuff you want to see on a cinema where it's worth. We talked a little bit about this last week, where like IMAX and stuff like that. It's you want to watch movies that are like made for IMAX, big screen, huge screen entertainment, like all the action movies, all these big, Marvel franchise movies now. Basically, a reason to go and watch a film. All these other films now, like normal indie films and like documentaries and romantic comedies and all that stuff, people don't want to go to the cinema and watch anymore. Not only because of it's so easy it is to access it at home now with streaming, you pay for it basically just a few weeks after it comes out the cinema, you got it on, you can pay for it and all of that at home. But also going to the cinema became so bloody expensive. They got so greedy with it. All the distribution companies that had all the rights and, basically turned it into a money-making machine. When it started to become like 20 quid for a ticket, 20 quid for popcorn, 10 quid for a Coke, you take a family of four, it's going to cost you like a couple of £100 to go out to the cinema if you're going to get a few bits of sweets, drinks and all of that. And that has meant, of course, with the economy, with people were tighter after COVID and everything, COVID certainly didn't help with the cinema either. That meant people stayed at home, watched stuff at home. And that is completely right. That is why cinema is dying. And they're actually closing a few cinemas over here in Norway because of this. And I think that is the same happening in the UK now. They're closing more cinemas there.
Cineworld is closing a few of its locations. But again, like I think I brought this up last week. I don't want to sound too pompous about it, but I'm not truly in fear about losing my cinema. Because like I said, my one's the one they spent like £2 million on. And it's in London. And it's in the O2 Arena. So, in my opinion, if they can close the entire company, that's when I'll lose my Cineworld.
Yeah.
That one will be open. It will be the last one.
Yeah, because they've put so much money into that. They're not going to want to close that until they absolutely have to.
Don't get me wrong. Touch wood. Get me wrong. Touch wood. That I'd hate to end up being wrong and then be like, guys, I've got no cinema. You have to go to the Odeon or whatever.
But they're closing. They're closing some cinemas. They're not in the major city centres, like in the cities.
Yeah,
but out a bit more, out and more in the districts.
No, you're right.
They're closing the cinemas. People don't go to them anymore.
Yeah, I've seen on the news like in High Wycombe, Cineworld has gone or something like this. I actually, funny you say that. I got an email the other day from Cineworld, which basically. I'll read it out. Yeah, if you don't mind. Got some great comments in the chat, by the way.
Yeah, we're going to go through the comments very soon. Yep.
Some genuine good comments there. And I don't really say that about a lot of comment sections because usually it's full of guff. But
we know I'm normally like in a comment section. I can't really say I'm good at comment sections.
I mean, we're the main reasons they're full of guff, if we're being honest.
Definitely.
But hi Thomas. Yeah, that's my name. Legally. Anyway. We're pleased to announce some exciting changes to your unlimited membership benefits. I was reading this thinking, are you about to tell me that basically I'm being booted off the scheme? Anyway, they went, you can now watch 2D movies in super screen without paying the super screen uplift. I'm like, that's really wonderful because I basically wasn't watching films on your super screen because I didn't want to pay £5 or whatever it was extra just to watch the movie on a slightly bigger screen. By slightly, I mean it's the biggest cinema screen in Europe allegedly.
That's such a con. Paying just for the size, you're gonna have to pay more just for the size of the screen.
Yeah, I mean to be fair, it's literally like an auditorium. Like it's basically like 3 cinema screens in one kind of thing. But yeah, it's nice to know that now I can actually watch movies on there for free as well.
And that's good. And I'm surprised they haven't kicked you out completely for being a slag. So there's that as well. But let's go through the comments. Thanks everyone for taking part. It's great you joining with us. Right, so we're just going to go through some comments now. So BX starts off by saying you were obviously traumatized by Lost and Heroes for them cutting
Heroes more than Lost. I've seen both. I've actually finished watching both, but I did get more into Heroes because I think Heroes season 1 ended really bombastically.
Yeah.
And then it came, to be fair, that was very much a writer's strike kind of. Because when that really got going, the writer's strike occurred. So obviously they had to do I think half season 2, if I recall. Obviously Lost started long before that. So I think Lost started to lose its steam before the writer's strike, in my opinion.
Yeah.
So it's just coincidental. But anyway, so yeah, thanks for
Yeah.
that, BX. But you're kind of right, yeah.
I got Colonel Ward here. Archive 81 is like that. Yeah, Netflix made one season, gave it a cliffhanger for a season 2, then cut off. Cut off as goal.
Yeah.
I actually didn't see that, but that's typical, like we was talking about.
That's why I'm reluctant to get into shows.
Yeah, you never know what's going to happen. That's the problem. You get into them and then they just cut it off.
I
Denzel
don't want
Washington
to give
once
my
said,
time.
"Yeah, sorry."
No, there's loads of people, or like you, loads of memes and stuff on Facebook. People motivational quotes are basically like, "You only have finite time on this earth, so make the most of it." Blah blah blah. And then I'm like, "Yeah, I watched Glow for 3 seasons, and then they decided to not make season 4." I'm like, "Well, thanks for that, Netflix."
Exactly.
Glow was a good show. It was a good show.
Yeah.
How dare they? Kate Nash was in it, and I'm sure you'll remember that one song she made. She's not starred it. She's just part of the cast. Sorry, go on, Sam.
Yeah, no, that's great. BX says Denzel Washington once said there's a difference between movie stars and television. Yeah, back in the day, but again, like we said, with the advent and advancement of streaming and all of that, where Netflix basically came in, Big Boys, all of those, they then started making huge budget TV series and movies themselves. So, the movie stars moved over to TV.
Definitely true in the 90s, Sam. Definitely true in the 90s. In the early 2000s, don't get me wrong, in the late 90s, because when you started getting real TV stars turning up in Friends, I think that was really the game changer for television. And I know comedy is like a lowbrow kind of high viewership, like it's kind of looked down upon on television. But when you had like Brad Pitt and Bruce Willis turning up in Friends, that kind of like bridged the gap, I suppose, to make it not totally uncool for films, for the real stars to turn up in things. And then it obviously, when they started making, like you say, streaming, I think the real thing that changed it was when you started getting shows like Deadwood, Lost to a degree. Basically, their quality became like film.
Yeah.
And it was a lot closer to, and you could tell the stories a lot better. I think there was a comment similar to that before we went for this current one, but you could, because you get more time to tell the stories.
Yeah, exactly.
Films by default look a lot more rushed because then like you see in film reviews, not mine, but in some film reviews, like people go, "Oh, the end of this movie seems rushed," and I'll sit there thinking that's really code for like you just think it's crap, but it's true.
I mean, it was back in the I was just going to say back in the day, like you say, it was just movies, and then when series became big, and especially now with streaming series, it just created a whole new storytelling. You could actually tell a full proper story with proper story arcs, character arcs, and all of that. With a film, you have to get everything done within 2 to 3 hours, maximum 3 hours, hopefully.
Yeah.
But with a series, you can go for 20 episodes, 60 episodes, 80 episodes. It's basically how long you want to go, and it creates such a much more open storytelling world in so many ways. And I've seen interviews with several big film stars that have said, I can't exactly name who now, because it's just coming off the top of my head now. But I remember there were a couple of interviews where it's like, we enjoy working with Netflix now and working on series because, first of all, the budgets are like movies, basically. It's not like the old days with the old BBC cardboard cutouts, props and all of that. Big budget series now, more budget than you get in most movies. And then long story, as I said, it's great because they can create such great stories and really fill them out and really make them proper and have a proper middle and ending and all of that. It's not just like an old play where you got part 1, part act 1, act 2, act 3, basically just all, basically suppressed into 2 hours. So the whole streaming series, universe that came along is just opened it up completely and demolished really traditional filmmaking.
I don't know if it's true, Sam, but I imagine a lot of actors that have gone from film to television probably feel it's a lot more freeing because you probably, and I could, this could be total bollocks, pardon my language, but I imagine you will find someone that goes, you actually get more input into a storyline because you're changing, your idea may not necessarily be make or break for a TV show.
Yeah, I think there's several examples where the writers will work together with the stars, in story development and all of that. So there's definitely more of a collaboration there, I think, which makes it more interesting for them as well, and not just the whole possibility of making proper long stories and all that. And also they get paid good, right? Because they're getting paid, you know, if they're going to do 3, 4, 5, 6 seasons, they're going to get paid pretty well as well, you know. So yeah, it's good for them. Let's go through more comments here. Thanks, Spence Bronco, for joining. Good afternoon from where you are. And then AP says it's a shame in Virginia, in the eastern coast of USA. It's a shame none of these remakes get good reviews from fans. Wish these companies would make something new. Miss independent films. Yeah, independent films are great, but now it's all just streaming. They hardly put any independent films unless they're from a well-known director, or they're really, they've done really well in film festivals, got really good reviews worldwide, stuff like that. You're not really going to see indie movies much anymore on cinemas. It's a shame.
Streaming. I think there's a big market for independent films on a Netflix, because the biggest driver of content for Netflix is just having content.
Yeah, well, I'm saying you're not seeing those indie movies on cinemas anymore. That's what I'm saying.
Oh, no. I mean the opposite, as in like, you're getting less chances taken, because you've got to have all 12 of your 18 screens have got to be showing Black Widow or something like that to have any chance of making money. No, that's fair.
Yeah, it's a formula now. It's all, like you say, it's all a formula now. They follow the formula. They know the formula that makes money. It's action, it's CGI, it's a sequel. It's part of the Marvel. It's following a popular Marvel storyline, and that's it. Then you get all the spin-offs, right? Star Wars, I believe, I read a while ago. The Star Wars franchise is. I know they've already made a few spin-offs, but it's going to get something in total like 9 spin-offs is in the works altogether.
Oh yeah. Well, I don't blame them, because you've paid a lot of money for that, so you're going to push out new content to varying degrees. Like, I'm not a massive Star Wars mark. Like, I'm not turning up for premiere night of Star Wars Episode 10 to dressed as the character, dressed as like Harrison Ford or something like that. Like, I'm not. But at the same time, a year later, when it comes to DVD, I'll probably put it on my Christmas list, and then I'll sit. And then in February, I may be talking about episode 7, 8, 9 here.
And
then in February, when I had nothing better to do, I then watched the DVD. But like, I do think Star Wars is basically, it's a pseudo political battleground.
Of course, it's an epic. It's a classic story, isn't it? Just done in a different way with different characters and set in a different universe.
I mean, the fandom of how it's
good versus bad, isn't it? It's good versus bad.
Oh, no,
Empire, good versus bad Empire.
Yeah. That like the actual story itself is actually quite cut and dry. Yeah. But the way it's portrayed has become the new battleground for people on the internet.
Yeah.
I'm not going to get into that, but you know what I mean. Let's not go
off on a detailed Star Wars tangent, but I was talking about nine. I think they planned 9 spin-offs. And one of them is supposed to be Obi-Wan, the Obi-Wan Kenobi story, and it's supposed to be with Ewan McGregor. It's supposed to be with Ewan McGregor, isn't it?
Oh, that already exists.
Oh, yeah, that's true. Yeah, sorry, I forgot about that. It already exists. I just haven't seen it because I can't keep up with them all.
I've not, but
I can't keep up with them all. There's so many. The Mandalorian, the other stuff. I can't even remember what the others are now. But
I don't blame them, right? And this might maybe sound like a massive prick. I absolutely do not blame them for putting out loads of new Star Wars content, because if I spent $2 billion on something, I would fucking run it into the ground as well.
Yeah, exactly. You got to milk it for all you can. It's a money-making business, isn't it? It's a money-making business.
I'd milk it like a space-shaped clown. Cow, I meant to say, not clown. I'm not going around jacking off clowns. Like,
how do you milk a space-shaped clown, Tom? Please tell me. That doesn't sound very PG, to be honest, but not that I care on this show.
That's all right. That's all right. In 100 episodes' time, someone's going to have to dig very deep to find this. It's fine. It's fine.
Space clown milking, sponsored by Tom. Yes. Anyway, let's move on.
It was bad enough imagining like me milking a cow. But apparently I'm now doing unquestionable things to clowns. But anyway. Sorry, everyone.
The clowns love it.
Sorry.
Sure. They love it. The clowns. Right. Amazing how cheap TVs. Yeah, right. That's what I said. You know, back in the 90s, if you had a 50-inch TV, you were a millionaire. You were a millionaire. You know, today TVs are easily 60, 70 inches. Everyone's got them. You know, the market. Everyone. You know, the price has dropped as more and more people got them. Yeah, it's crazy now. AP. Thanks for staying, buddy. We got funny how 3D TVs just died. Yeah, we was talking about this last week. How that whole, I don't want to go into a whole tangent again, but yeah, basically how 3D had a revival and then just completely died off again. You know,
I'll tell you why that died
yeah.
off. The TV itself, I'll tell you why it died off. It's quite simple, AP. It's because the companies that provide the content didn't want to provide the 3D ready content, because they know people ain't going to buy the TVs.
Yeah.
So it's a catch-all situation, which ultimately leads to someone wasting a lot of money on TVs and not having the content for it.
There was no content for it, exactly. They were too far ahead of themselves. It just didn't catch on. Yeah. AB said, need to get a new TV. What do you reckon? Right. I'm not a TV tech guru person. I don't know about you, Tom. I'm not really into the tech side of it, but I do know I haven't really been following the last few years. But I know about like 5 years ago or so, you know, top range Samsungs were good. They were testing really, really well, but they were, you know, quite expensive as well, because there is a real price jump if you go to the top of the range TVs, where you get like the really good, you know, picture quality, AMOLED stuff, and, you know, high hertz frame rate stuff and all of that, refresh rates. Yeah, you go up to the high refresh rates and the really good color contrast, color depth, AMOLED stuff. Yeah, it gets quite expensive, the top end stuff. But the Samsung was pretty good about 5 years ago. I'm not sure if they've been overtaken by other you know, brands, basically. Well, you got Samsung, yeah.
But I mean, I've had a Samsung since 2009. It broke in 2021, I think.
Yeah,
could be wrong. So, but for a TV, I'd argue that 12 years is good.
That's good going. Yeah,
shelf life, right?
Yeah.
So I basically got another one, basically the same sort of TV brand, etc. But then I noticed on it basically went right for my laziness, because then I got the remote and it was like, oh, you don't even have to select Netflix anymore because it's just a button here. And I was like,
that's
cheers.
great.
And they were like Amazon Prime as well. I was like, oh,
yeah, it makes life easier, doesn't it?
Perfect.
Bronco didn't understand 3D TVs. I don't think most people really got it. Never caught on, did it? And then BX makes a good point here. Previews, the arcade, the popcorn. That is nostalgia. Used to love when I was younger. You go to the cinema, you go early. There was always an arcade next to it, or you had arcade machines inside the lobby. Very often, and you go in there, play some games, go and get your tickets, get the popcorn, watch the. I used to love watching the trailers. You know, the trailers were good fun. You didn't have, nowadays you sit there for half an hour watching stupid adverts, all the same stuff you get at home on the TV all throughout the bloody day and night. You get all the half an hour of adverts and then you get a few trailers. Yes, it's not the same, is it? Definitely not the same.
My general understanding of film is that you turn up half hour before the advertised start time. No, that's not strictly true. Basically, if you turn up the advertised start time, I'll put it in an even simpler way. If your film, if it's 1 o'clock, the movie, that movie is not starting until 1:30.
Exactly. Yeah, exactly.
It's just not.
So long.
People may have noticed on my reviews over on a certain social media app called it rhymes with Racebook. Anyway,
good old Racebook.
Good old Racebook. So many of them. I document the trailers, what they are, like partly for people like, oh, what's coming up lately? I'm like, well, apparently it's this X, Y, Z, but it's also partly because when I look back on it, I want to see what the trailers were at, in a year's time. you're gonna get your 1 year ago. Like,
nice little thing to keep track of. Yeah.
Oh, I remember that movie being absolute.
Yeah, exactly. Bronco says 4K is a big thing now, but I mean, Blu-ray was already really. Yeah, Blu-ray was great. 1080. When we took that jump from what was normally was normal TV. What was 480? I think it was 480p, and then all of a sudden you had they tried to call it HD, but it wasn't HD. It was 720. But then the real HD, the full HD, was 1080. And that picture quality, I remember, was insane. When you first went up to 1080, you could really see it. I remember, and it was very expensive at the beginning, as it always is. If you had a 1080 full proper HD TV, that was an expensive TV. But now it's 4K. There's even 8K now, isn't there? I think that's the biggest, the highest technology.
They use that in the NFL, and I don't mean, but they use it in wrestling now for the entrances.
Yeah,
they don't use it for the whole show. It's literally when they do the ring introductions, they'll be like, "It's Billy Idol," and then he stands there. Does his thing. But
8K is the top end stuff. That's not really, like we said earlier, the content's not really there yet for the 8K. There's some, but not really a lot, I believe. But 8K is very top at the moment and expensive. It'll probably come down in price. It was, but 4K is big quality stuff now. This is more accessible.
Do you know why Blu-ray won? Do you know why?
Yeah, because Disney took it. Disney decided there was that whole HD DVD versus Blu-ray battle, and basically Disney.
I'll tell you why Blu-ray beat it.
Disney decided to go with Blu-ray. That's what happened.
Yeah, that is part of it, but it's also because Sony selected Blu-ray to be on the PlayStation 3.
That was a big part of it as well. That together with Disney, that together with Disney decimated HD DVD.
But in synergy with each other, the reason PlayStation 2 destroyed Nintendo and Xbox in the early 2000s, PlayStation 2, was because they got the rights for DVD. They chose DVD to be in the machine, and Sega Dreamcast did not choose that.
Well, that was what was so genius about it, because it became a DVD player as well as a gaming machine, a gaming console. That was ingenious. So you had 2 in 1, and that just completely killed Nintendo. But Nintendo was flailing. We can go. That can be another episode. We can go through the games console history and all of that. It's actually quite interesting. But let's AP says, don't think IMAX will die. Luckily, I think IMAX is still viable for the big screen action stuff, as long as they don't price it completely stupidly. People have to still be able to afford it. Looking at 4K Sony Bravia. Sony Bravia is another great brand.
Yep, I've seen its highlights on YouTube. Yeah, it's had some great moments, that Sony Bravia.
Sounds like a striker. We're not going to talk about football. Anyway, going to the mall, then movies at night was the best. Yeah, I mean, in America, you have that whole mall and movie theater experience, the culture. You've got a little bit of that in England, like you said, with the O2 and that. But over here, we don't really have that. The cinema is not in a mall over here. But that's great. That the whole culture over there with that. They closed the cinema next to my gym. Yeah, exactly. The cinemas are dying, as we've been talking about. However, big movie premieres, because back in the day it was just such a great surprise. All of a sudden you caught a big new premiere of a new film, because it wasn't so, with social media now and everything, you get so much news straight away so early. The marketing is, so intense. Back in the day, the marketing wasn't that intense, and you didn't really know about a big movie that was being made until all of a sudden you might have heard about it or read about it in a magazine. Then all of a sudden you get the trailer, the preview on the big screen there, and it was I remember the surprise of seeing, wow, that movie is coming. I used to love that. That was part of going to the cinema, wasn't it?
I mean, to be fair, although we're having this cinema discussion, I do think it genuinely should be said, the true driver of technology is pornography.
That's true. It's true. Let's not go into that tangent, but you're right. Very
quickly, do you notice how the mobile phone started getting smaller and smaller, and then you ended up with the Nokia midget kind of thing, and people were genuinely talking. eventually eventually you'll have like a widget like planted in your side of your head, or you can have your phone in your ear. I mean, obviously that's what an earbud is now, but there was a time where people thought your phone would be in your head and you could literally just tap the side of your head and go, "Oh, cool
And then
Sam Greenwood."
and then the technology was all about being as small as and
And
light
then
as
they got
possible.
picture phones.
And then it's gone the other way. Now it's as big. They want the phones as big as possible. Really, that's what they want for the screen size and all of that.
Yeah, because
See
what
what
can you
Colonel
watch on
says.
those screens? Sorry,
Yeah.
Yeah.
Because
Hello,
for
Colonel.
watching, like you say, for watching certain things, like porn. Yeah, we'll just say I don't care about stuff like that.
I totally care about stuff like that, and I'll happily admit it.
See, Colonel Ward, the one outside the O2 near the Pizza Hut will probably close. Yeah, exactly. That's what I'm saying. It's going everywhere. It was gross, but it needed to go.
No, he's talking
Some of those old theatres got really
cinema.
crusty. What was you going to say, Tom?
He's talking about my cinema.
Yeah. Oh, is he? He's Colonel Ward. Oh, he's
the one
Colonel
outside
Ward.
the O2 near the Pizza Hut. How dare you, Colonel Ward? He probably means a different one.
It must be a different one. I don't think Colonel Ward's near you. It's like, those old cinema theaters, they get old and crusty, man. I mean, your feet would literally stick to the floor in those cinema in the theaters. BX says, I remember going to Times Square in the 1800s to see big. Yeah, I mean, there were some big, huge cinemas in America.
He means the 90s. He's not that old. He obviously means the 90s, really. Like,
cinema in London, ridiculously expensive. Yeah, exactly. They're just far too expensive. Imagine being a family of 4 going out to the cinema. It's crazy. Last movie went Star Wars. Yeah.
You bringing that up? Actually, put a story. It happened last week of a family. Basically, I walked in. It was half term in England, so I automatically know the cinema's gonna be busier than it usually is at the time I walk in. You had this really long line of basically the best way to put it, like single people or people like guys with their girlfriends, and in the other line, a much shorter line, was families. And I incorrectly, because I wasn't really paying attention, I just went, all right, well, I'll be a fool to not walk over to this line. And then £96 later, because I just looked over out of curiosity, because it felt like they were ordering the entire inventory of fucking popcorn and glasses and everything, right? And I'll sit there thinking, also apparently a whole family now costs £100, give or take a couple of pounds.
Exactly. It is terrible. It really is, of the prices of it. Bronco says, TV shows 100% better for telling stories. Imagine the money made is probably similar, especially if it's a blockbuster. But the show makes money on commercials and subscriptions. Yeah, and also through the sheer volume of it, right? If you're making 6 seasons at, say, 13 to 20 plus episodes a season, that's a lot of money you're generating there, through all of that. The economic models are probably somewhat similar. Yeah, we know Netflix is making a lot of money. A lot of the other streaming services are. So yeah, Paramount, though, interestingly, it looks like they're shutting down, though. I don't think Paramount were able to keep up. They were losing a lot of big stuff. So yeah, Paramount are closing, apparently shutting down their streaming services. BX, my biggest gripe these days are sequels coming out 20, 30 years later. Yeah, I mean, Gladiator 2, it looks pretty good on the old trailers, but we know it's going to be a CGI fest. We know it's not going to be the same as the original. I think we're just going to have to enjoy the entertainment of it, BX. Just go enjoy it. Big screen, like we was talking about. It's one of those films that's going to be great on the big screen, on an IMAX or something like that, with all the incredible sound. It's definitely a movie made for cinema, and yeah, so that'll make it worth it. But yeah, it's never going to touch Gladiator, is it? It's never going to be able to do that.
Whenever I watch a movie, rarely do I sit there thinking, boy, I hope loads of other people on earth are seeing this. I don't give a shit. If I fucking enjoy it, that's all that fucking matters.
Yeah,
Don't get me wrong, there are certain films where I do sit there and feel like, if this actually doesn't make a profit, it will be a genuine tragedy. But any movie starring The Rock has not put that thought into my head. Jumanji was all right, to be fair.
Jumanji, yeah, you talk about the original one with Robin Williams.
All of it, the whole thing. I'm fascinated by that entire concept.
Yeah.
I like how they modernised it. Basically, like I enjoyed how they made the game itself, the board, sentient enough to sit there and realise no one's going to play me anymore. But what will people play? So it just turned into this whole pornography board. And that's not true. It turned into a video game board, video game system. That's how
Yeah, good old Jumanji, good old Robin Williams, may you rest in peace. BX, the new Count of Monte Cristo is good. That was in French, yeah, but still, that's another thing. There's a lot of good foreign series out there now that we're not going to go into more in detail to that now, but there are so many good foreign series out there now that you get through the streaming services that become more accessible.
What you need to be careful about, Sam, this is genuinely true, and I will address that for Spencer. It's a great point. I used to believe that, obviously, because there was time there was not a lot of foreign movies or content on Netflix. So generally speaking, if a movie comes over to England, like, I know you're in a different country now, we respect you, but generally
we normally get movies about the same time. Yeah,
no, but I mean, the actual movies themselves are irrelevant by name. But like, if a movie like came over to it, like Parasite, for example, like that movie was so good, it actually won the Oscar, and that's generally not a barometer for actually being good, because a lot of pretentious movies win Oscars for a lot of reasons. But that movie was over here; it was very successful. Squid Game, very popular on Netflix. Basically, I believe that because of Squid Game, it's now led to them buying even more and more Korean TV series or that. And in my opinion, some of them are not that good.
Yeah, exactly.
But that's the problem with the initial success, because I used to believe if something actually crosses that barrier to actually being deemed good enough to be released in England, it's definitely going to be good. Whereas now Netflix are like, we don't need to worry about the quality control shit. We're just giving you content.
It's opened
£5 a month.
It's opened up. It's opened up, of course, to a lot of different foreign series, and some of them probably aren't very good. But you do get access to a lot of good ones as well that you probably wouldn't get access to before. Yeah, that's true. Let's see. Yeah, this was. Oh, sorry, it was this point, wasn't it? This one here. Bronco says, I know Tom knows this, but I'm a huge fan of holiday movies or even shows with holiday-themed episodes. Yeah, when it comes to Christmas time, it's great. It's fantastic, isn't it, the Christmas movies and stuff? There's far fewer of them now, of course, than there used to be. Back in the days, it was a lot better for Christmas movies. Now it's just, I don't know. It just doesn't have that. It's just not the same, is it anymore?
I actually think you're on the opposite coin of the same sort of thing, because I think the opposite is true. There's actually far more Christmas movies these days. The thing is they're so low quality, where quality is a relative term, but basically Channel 5 in England basically can put on an entire 2 months every day of Christmas movies.
There are a lot of movies out. Sure, yeah, that's true.
There's so many of them. There so many on Netflix. You on Netflix now, there's probably like 20 Christmas movies, and that'd be even before you even touch one that you've even heard of.
Yeah. There's a lot of obscure Christmas movies out there for sure.
Christmas movies is its own cottage industry within film. Because I know this sounds really weird. Most Christmas films are filmed in July.
I know, because they make them for the Christmas market. That's what they do. They make movies for the Christmas market. That's
yeah. But it's just this weird dichotomy, I suppose. I don't know if that's the right word to use. Of they're all pretending to be freezing cold, and in reality, they're all sweating their bollocks off.
Well, nowadays you have CGI, don't you, that can create that world so much better. And like you say, the actors just pretend to be cold. Let's see what Colonel Ward says. That's why soaps last so long, because even though I've seen the stories before, there will always be a younger generation which you get hooked for. Yeah, it's the classic formula that keeps going, isn't it? They know there's a classic storyline. There's a classic way of building up a story, and with a cliffhanger and all this heel turns like you have in wrestling, character turns, the character arc and all of that. Yeah, there's ways of doing it that people, they know how to get people hooked.
I mean, think of the audience that tend to watch soaps. I don't mean to typecast anyone or upset everyone, but obviously they're very easily pleased when they're given certain things, certain types of drama, easily pleased, and they'll gladly be spoon-fed it repeatedly until they're dead.
There's different trigger points, isn't there? And they keep going through those trigger points, and they know exactly how to make it, like you want to keep
quickly
seeing it.
Before we get on to BX Gunner's comment, I just want to say on Spencer's YouTube channel, I'm sure he won't mind me saying this. One of the biggest hidden gems on YouTube is Spencer's video with his wife Holly, where they discuss. It's basically like do a tier list of Christmas movies. I watched the whole thing last year. It was fantastic. Don't ask me to
I haven't
quote
seen
any of
that.
it.
I'll have to catch that. I didn't see it.
You absolutely should. It's very. I remember watching it. I can't, if I remember rightly, I was supposed to be wrapping up presents, but basically, I enjoyed it so much. I was like, "Nah, the presents can wait. Fuck my family." But not really. But
Yeah.
it was very good. You should all watch it. Don't get me wrong. I can't remember if I must be remembering that he praised my favourite Christmas movie, Jingle All the Way. Otherwise, I definitely wouldn't have remembered to tell you all to watch it because Jingle All the Way is the man.
Yeah, well, pretty good film, definitely. BX says, love all the new Star Wars stuff. Before it was all just books. Yeah, it always used to be books and comics, didn't it, back in the day? But yeah, now, I mean, if you love Star Wars and that whole Star Wars universe, it's just great for you, isn't it? All the spin-offs and stuff. There's just so much of it. Bronco says, I found that. Sorry, what were you going to say?
No, go on. I'll just call it. Really don't need a 20-minute sermon on this, but it's impressive that out of just one movie, if filmed in like the 1970s in Tunisia, you get there's an entire lore that has gone so beyond anything ever.
Yeah,
it's really impressive.
Amazing, and George Lucas is absolutely raking it in with all the royalties. That's for sure. And some of the actors as well, and some of the actors as well, for making the very shrewd decision of going for royalties instead of a big one-off payment. That was a good idea. Spencer says, I found that video is really good, even Sony. Yeah, good shout outs there for TVs. Broncos says we have an LG and Samsung. Vizio is good for value though. Yeah, I mean there are some pretty good value brands out there for sure. BX says, just threw out my Sony Plasma. Yeah, remember the old Plasma stuff from 2006 in the driveway? We've got to get rid of it, BX. Get your ass out there and get rid of it. And Bronco says, Jesus, don't know why, but yeah, praise the Lord. Why not? BX says, I watched my first World Cup on it. Sensational. It has, sensational. Sentimental value. Well, okay, that's probably why it's still in the driveway, isn't it? You subconsciously not getting rid of that TV, are you? Subconsciously.
He's walking up to it, and I could be wrong here. Like I maybe aged him, and then when he got into football, or whatever. But his first World Cup, I think he's walking up to that and going, "Fucking Italian, 90."
Cinema was always easy for a date night. Yeah, that was it. Back in the day, the first step you'd take with a girl was you'd ask him out to the cinema. It was an easy way of you'd go and get, maybe you grab a little bit of food first, maybe somewhere like McDonald's or Burger King or something like that.
Yeah.
And then you go in, get the popcorn, get the drinks, have a little chat before the movie, and you sit there and you get to hold hands and put your arm around her and all that stuff for 2 hours. And maybe if you're lucky, you get a little bit of a cuddle, maybe a bit of a snog if you're lucky. It was a great way of building.
Maybe even a hand shandy.
If you're really lucky, really lucky. We'll say
if not, it turns out you get to watch Daddy Daycare anyway. So,
and there's always a silver lining. And Tom has just explained how we trained to be able to milk clowns. So yeah, we got to know that as well.
I went to see Daddy Daycare a lot.
We definitely spends a dinner, movie, and ice cream. Like, yep, BX is definitely on board. Us older guys who grew up in the 80s and 90s, that's what we did. That's the first steps you took. You take a girl to the cinema. That's what you do. Colonel Ward says, sorry, but I feel sorry for old Noah. He's playing all on his own against Chelsea. The Joker. Okay. What's he on about? I don't know. Sorry, I'm a bit into movies and stuff. I don't know what he's going on about.
I'll double check for the benefit of everyone.
Spider-Man bundle. Yep, Spider-Man. I quite enjoyed the Spider-Man reboot when it first came, and then they did like 2 new reboots with different. It just became too much. It became a joke.
I've seen Uncle Ben get robbed so many times. I'm actually rooting for the.
It was like literally. There was that one that came out with Sam Raimi directed, which was pretty good, with Tobey Maguire. And then literally, like just a couple of years later, they started again with what's his face? I can't even remember now. Anyway.
Andrew Garfield.
Yeah, that's it. And it's like, what's going on here? What's going on? Anyway, Bronco says use less than 75 to. Inflation's killed it though.
To give context, sorry, I don't mean to cut off your comment, Spencer. It's nothing personal to you. But Chelsea are playing a team called FC Noah in the Conference League. FC Noah.
All right. Well, I bet he knows how to handle. I bet they know how to handle a flood.
Well, speaking of flood, it's half time and it's 6-0 to Chelsea. Not talking football, but I think that's relevant to bring up. Right. That's why he's making the joke. The floodgates have opened on FC Noah.
Right, I had no idea about that, but anyway, now we know. Right, here we go. Yeah. AP says, remember the PS3 came out, Blu-ray player being combined. Made me get it. Oh yeah, that was another thing. And also, I remember the first PS3 that came out. They did something. Also, it was really, really good. It was backwards compatible. You could play PS1 and PS2 games on it. That was fantastic. But yeah, we're going to say video game. That's an interesting thing, probably for next week, Tom. We might delve into game console history next week. That might be a bit interesting. Let's see. Use Lord of the Rings movie as an excuse to stay out past. Well, you had to, didn't you? Because the things were like 4 fucking hours long, weren't they? Especially the last one. Was it the Tower? What was it called?
I remember being given a colleague at work, because I'd never seen it, gave me their copy of like special edition Lord of the Rings. Right, the credits for the end credits started coming up. Right, and I've been sat here for about 3.5 hours at this point. And I'm thinking, oh, thank God this is ending. And then I've gone, how long's left? It's like 30 fucking minutes of credits. I was like, you motherfuckers. I felt like I've been right stitched up.
What was the last one? What was the last one called? There was the Two Towers. I can't remember what the last one was called now.
Return of the King.
Return of the King. That was it. It was like 3.5, 3 hours, 40 minutes or something. It's ridiculous. Oh, anyway,
it feels like it's still going on in my life. Like it's never going to end. Never going to end.
Oh God. BX says AOL and LimeWire. Yeah, they were the days. Talking early internet days here now, and downloading movies. They were great for downloading movies, and we used to do that.
That's a good movie.
Batman Premier 89. I was there as well, and loved it thoroughly. Jack Nicholson as the Joker, incredible. Michael Keaton. Yeah, for me, he's probably the original proper Batman in movies. I know.
Hey, Brownie, how you doing, mate?
Sorry. Is Brownie with us?
Brownie is with us. So I'll read it out to save you from losing where you are in the queue of comments. All right, lads, just woke up, getting ready for work. So sorry I can't join you this time, but defo in the future. Well, thank you.
No worries, Brownie. I'll just find his comment. There it is. Cheers, Brownie. Thanks for dropping in, buddy. Very early where you are. I know you're in Australia now. It's really early for you, buddy. But yeah, thanks for dropping in. And if you're ever awake early and feel like you want to join us, more than welcome.
He sent me last week, but God bless him. When we finished the show talking, I got a message from him going, Tom, what time's the show start? I'm like, you missed it.
I didn't really advertise it much. Let many people know last time because it was just a test show, so I wasn't really putting anything into it. But yeah,
I'm not genuinely digging him out. It's nice that he asked because presumably he intended to watch it. So,
but it's we've got 6 people watching at the moment, and I'm actually impressed with that for being the first episode. So thank you everybody for watching. Please like and subscribe, as they say. Like and subscribe.
6 more than we expected. 6
more than we expected.
Ford Nelson. Yeah, I mean, the real joke is on all of you sitting there watching us clowns. Not the clowns that I've milked, obviously, but
no, not the clowns you milked. We don't really want to get very much into that. Not today, anyway. But yeah, we're slags in the dark. That's what we are. We're slags in the dark talking movies tonight. BX says the Goonies are set to have a sequel. I don't know how to feel about it because. I mean, like 3 of the actors are dead now, aren't they, or something like that? I mean, people who are involved in the film, and when I saw it, I thought it was a joke. I thought it was one of those fake sort of, fans make like fake sequel news stuff and all of that. Hey guys!
Hey guys! Right.
But yeah, I mean, the guy who played Sloth is dead. Corey Feldman or whatever his name is dead, isn't he? And then There's like two other actors as well that were in the movie. I don't think that the kid. I mean, the old woman, the old villain, she's
Chunk
dead.
is still alive, right?
Who?
Chunk is still alive.
Chunk is still alive. I think he's still alive. Yeah, but
Shuffle.
it's probably going to be one of those things where they're the parents and their kids, or they're the grandparents. Maybe, I don't know. Maybe they're grandparents now, and their grandkids go on an adventure. It's going to be like the new Ghostbusters thing, isn't it? Probably that's what it's going to be. Zero interest in Squid Game. I haven't seen it. I want to see it. Tom loves it. Many people really, really love it. Tom recommends it. I'm going to check it out. But yeah, it might not be for everyone.
I'm not going to sit here and lie and go like it's the best thing you'll ever watch. It's not. It's a interesting spin on something that has been done to death, admittedly. Like I've got a big fan of like tournament movies, as in like 20 people have to go into a room and toss each other off, but only one can survive and win or whatever. Like,
well,
I love that.
With your experience with the clowns, we know you would win, Tom.
Oh, the clowns wouldn't even get in the room with me. They'd take one look. They'd hear that I was around and they'd run. But still.
And as we mentioned last week, South Koreans are killing it when it comes to TV series and movies. They are making really good stuff. They know what they're doing over there. AP says,
I want to know what's going on with North Korean TV. In fact,
North Korea TV. I think they've probably just caught up to the 1950s. Probably that's probably where they are over there. To be honest,
Kim Jong-un's the supreme leader. He's doing really well, apparently. You hear about how many hole-in-ones in golf he's got?
I don't think they got Netflix in North Korea, but I bet you Kim Jong Un or whatever his name is now. I bet you he's got Netflix where in his little palace there. I bet you that. Just to answer AP quickly, when did you leave the UK, Sam? Thinking of moving to New Zealand? I moved back here to Norway in May after 3 years in the UK again. Been here since May. And New Zealand sounds fantastic, mate, because I've only heard great things about New Zealand. I know a couple of people who live there. Someone I know moved there many years ago. They really love it. Sounds like a good idea, mate. New Zealand, why not? BX, the new series, 3 Body Problem. I've heard good things about it. I want to see it. It's on my list. So, yeah, definitely on the list.
Do you mind if I show the photo up to the camera that you've just sent me? It's nothing that'll get you in trouble, Sam.
No, don't worry. Yeah, sure.
I won't do it unless BX.
Hang on, I'll let's see if I can. How do I put you in focus? Bloody hell, can I do that? Let's see.
Are you okay with this, BX? Because basically, he sent me a photo of. I'm not going to do it unless he obviously. Yeah, sure. This is basically what he sent me. This is the famous Italian 90 TV. Although it's probably USA 90.
Oh, at least it's still quite flat. It's not.
Yeah.
At least it's still quite flat and not one of those really big ones, that had all the stuff in the back, those big block TVs, yeah.
It does have a little bit of rounding to the back of it, but yeah. I was expecting a monstrosity, a weapon.
Yeah, I was expecting a big monstrosity as well. It's actually quite flat. It's actually quite flat, isn't it?
Of a TV.
Yeah, exactly. It's actually quite flat, isn't it? BX, mate, get your finger out of your ass and get rid of it, okay?
2006. Fucking hell. I was 16 years off.
BX says traditional things like Christmas aren't the same generation. Yeah, it's not really the movies that come out for me. It's probably because we're older and Christmas movies and Christmas in general doesn't have the same feeling as when you're younger. When you're young, Christmas has a special feeling and those movies have a special feeling. So it's probably because of our age. But yeah, for me, Christmas movies have never been as good.
People, we're becoming the older generation. We said we'd never be like. Yeah. I'm always gonna love Christmas, man. I'm never gonna become like you, Mom, or whatever. Like
like Bronco says here, they're churned out for money now. So like you say, there's so many of them come out the Christmas season. They're churned out for money. They're not going to be watched more than once because you watch it once, you say, "Oh, that was a load of shit," and you never watch it again. And they don't care because they got their money, right? So yeah.
Christmas movies have 2 distinct plots generally, right? I've seen enough of them because my mum watching. Mum's got the Christmas channel on all the time, right?
There's a Christmas channel as well, isn't there? Bloody hell.
There's Christmas movie chat there, Movies 24, I think it's called in England. Anyway, basically 2 plots. It's basically high-powered executive goes back to her hometown, gets stranded in her hometown, fish out of water type thing. Basically, and it always coincides with her old high school crush who she left behind, but obviously she finds the meaning of Christmas, and basically it's all because he happens to be ridiculously good looking, conveniently, of course, and basically his dick makes her see the spirit of Christmas.
Yes, exactly.
Or the other one, high-powered male executive basically goes into his rural hometown for Christmas.
He hasn't been there for 20 years.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And he's a bitter old man.
He's a bitter old man, and he's horrible, and he's turned into a real horrible person. And he goes back to his hometown of 20 years, and he meets his high school girlfriend.
The one
and
they got away.
Together. They meet because she breaks down on the road or something. He's a wheel change, and she still hates him from high school, but he's warming up to her, and they like each other again, meet each other's families. They're all together for Christmas, and he shags her in the arse at the end. That's what happens, and that's the ending.
Oh, but she will always have a cupcake business that nice enough, like it keeps the lights on, but like her heart is totally in it. She loves this cupcake business. And to him, it's an investment. It's something to do while he's stuck in the town.
Exactly. Something to sort of play around with her and keep her interested, basically. Yeah. BX says, I grew up
and he
with fall and winter.
Sorry.
Grew up with the fall and winter holidays being the highlight of the year. Big Thanksgiving with family, then huge Christmas tree, fireplace, the works. Times have changed.
BX is like a 90-year-old man going like, oh man, you youngins, you don't fucking get what it's like anymore. To you, it's all fucking iPhones and stuff. I spent my Christmas. Sorry, I don't know why I'm talking like he's a fucking Texan, but
Texan, get her done. Anyway, I was going to say, the best Thanksgiving movie / Christmas movie, because it's turned into a Christmas movie as well. But in my humble opinion, the ultimate Thanksgiving / Christmas movie, Trains, Planes, and Automobiles. That movie is absolute legend.
Oh, I agree. It's very good.
Steve Martin and John Candy, absolute incredible legends in that film. And the director, John Hughes, what a legendary director. You can just look at his film catalogue. He made all the great classic comedies of the 80s. Wow. Rest in peace, John Hughes and John Candy. Steve Martin's still knocking around, isn't he?
Steve Martin's never going to die. Steve Martin will be 700 years old.
Music.
700 years old. I'll tell you a good movie he did, which I enjoy personally, right? It's not in the league of Planes, Trains, obviously. I like the movie he did with Queen Latifah called Bringing Down the House, where basically, like, obviously he's like...
I didn't bother seeing that.
he needs help with his kids. His kids are unruly and don't respect him. So he obviously goes and gets Queen Latifah to babysit his children. And you can imagine the hilarity that ensued. It's one of these films that I enjoy it, but I can see why it didn't particularly capture the audience's imagination. Yeah, he's very good on that show on Disney.
There's a new show called Murders. But something
Murder in Apartment 36, or I've totally botched
something about murder or something. Yeah, it's that like detective comedy thing with Martin Short and what's her face, Selena Gomez or whatever her face is. Yeah, it looks quite good actually. I haven't seen that one, but Scrooge, wow, what a Christmas movie! Bill Murray, legend, and of course turned into classic Christmas movies, played throughout Christmas everywhere. Home Alone 1 and 2.
Home Alone 1 is so much better than Home Alone 2.
Oh, yeah. Home Alone. You could see Home Alone 2 they didn't put the same effort in Home Alone 2. It was like, wow.
It's the same movie.
Home Alone 1 was a massive, massive, massive success. I think it took everyone by surprise how good it was, how big it was. And then what do these big movie studios do? They cash in on it and say, right, we've got to make a sequel. And then they rush into it. You know, it's never the same back in the day when they made those sequels, you know. Yeah.
This might surprise you, Sam. Home Alone 1 took the most money ever for a comedy movie until a film surpassed it. Do you know which comedy film surpassed Home Alone 1 for like the box office take? Genuinely true. I was surprised because it's so far after. Like, it's not like it's not like the Home Alone 2 surpassed it for a take. But it got beat by something years later. Like, no, not... The Mask wishes it could match the success of Home Alone 1. Cameron Diaz came very close, though, because her red dress in that film,
What movie was it then?
It was The Hangover.
Oh, yeah, The Hangover was huge.
It might have been The Hangover Part 2, because I believe The Hangover Part 2 was monstrously successful compared to The Hangover. I
remember Hangover took the world by storm. I remember it took the world by storm. Everyone raved about it for a long time. Just Colonel's comment, just adopted a rescue dog. Sorry, it's taken over. The dog is overweight, shadowy across between a pug and a jack. It looks like a gremlin. Bloody hell, Colonel. Your dog looks like a gremlin. Anyway, good on you.
Maybe that's why it's shat everywhere. He knows he can sense what you really think, mate.
Just don't, you know, don't put it underwater or whatever. You know, don't feed it after midnight. Rescue, but anyway, good on you, Colonel, for adopting a rescue dog.
I have a big issue with Home Alone 2. How stupid are those parents?
Oh, Home Alone 2, like you say, it was fun to watch, entertaining. It was decent, but it was nowhere near the quality of number one.
I enjoy watching it.
Number 2 was ridiculous. I mean, what's the coincidence of those robbers being in New York? New York is a city with 10 million people, and they happen to be at the exact same place as Kevin McAllister, who's from Chicago. I know he goes to New York by mistake, but also robbers from Chicago are in exactly the same place in New York at exactly the same time. I mean, the whole premise of the movie is ridiculous, but it's still entertaining.
Yeah, like, don't get me wrong. If Home Alone 2 was on and there was nothing else on, I'd watch it, and I'd probably laugh at the same bits. Like, I get that. But I can't help but scrutinise movies to my ridiculous observational standards, where I'm basically like, don't get me wrong, I really should be sitting here going, how'd you lose the child the first time? Because obviously in real life, if that happened, Kevin McAllister would be dead, because they would have eventually got in the ass. They would have sidestepped all the Lego bits, probably moved out of the way of the can that swung down the stairs, and they'd kill him. But, I mean, I would have killed Kevin McAllister. I'm just saying I would have. But the second time, I'm like, how'd you lose him twice?
I mean, the parents need to be put in prison, right? I mean, or at least he needs to be taken away from them and, you know, given to child services. I mean, come on,
I don't care. I don't care how upset and determined the mother seemed when she wanted to actually get back to Kevin in time for Christmas, even though she only arrived 4 minutes before, 42 seconds before everyone else in the fucking family, meaning that really she didn't have to sit there in the back of a truck with John fucking Candy. Anyway, but just no time for Catherine O'Hara's character. No time.
Still good entertainment, though, isn't it? Still a classic.
Oh, it's great. It's a great movie. Great movie.
Anyway, BX says, sorry.
Comedic effect. But no time for it. Sorry, go on.
BX says first World Cup was actually 2006 in Germany, and the TV set was new back then. Yeah, wow. And then we got all the young man comes home and sees his high school girlfriend. Yeah, that's basically what I said, wasn't it? And then we got BX going, I took one of my 18-year-old twins to have, your twins are 18 years old, BX, you got to be careful to have a girlfriend that didn't grow up with much to realize he had a privileged upbringing by going on summer vacations, having a ton of presents for Christmas. Yep. Planes, Train. Yeah, exactly. What a movie. And we got Kevin, buddy. Nice to see you. Big up Sam Pookie settings. Granny Norma is a legend. Oh my God. Going back to Granny Norma and Pookie. That was back in the day. Oh, mate, I just got to tell you a quick story, Tom. This whole Pookie thing. This is before your time when I got involved in streams with you. But yeah, Kevin and I go way back to the pandemic days. And basically when Pookie was playing for Norwich in the Premier League and scoring goals and like a little bit of a phenomenon. And we found out. And Kevin's from is it Indonesia? Sorry, Kevin. It's been a while since I've spoken to you, mate. I think you're from Indonesia or Malaysia. I can't remember. Indonesia, maybe. I can't. I'm sorry, Kevin, if I remember that incorrectly. But anyway, in his language where he's from, Kevin, Pookie is like pussy. It's pussy. So we used to mess around all the time, you know, with wordplay, saying Pookie this, Pookie that, Pookie's great. What, you know, and just using Pookie, all the stuff, you know, Pookie as a euphemism, basically. Yeah, yeah. Anyway,
many moments
nice to see you, Kevin.
Sorry.
Oh yeah. Oh my God. This is going to be a separate episode, right? Horror films. I love horror films. I haven't been caught up with the last 10 years or so of movies, but I was really into horror movies in the 80s and 90s. We can go through a horror movie episode, a horror themed episode, definitely in one of the next episodes. That's for sure. I love horror movies. What about you, Tom? Are you into your horror movies?
Some are okay. I just don't like sitting there. But the anticipation gets me more than anything.
Yeah, anticipation.
When it makes me wait. I don't like watching people skulk around the house and then open the door and nothing happens, and then they shut the door and then open it again. The killer's there. It's like
it's one of those things you either love the suspense and anticipation of it. You either love it or you hate it. It's one of those.
I hate it. I absolutely hate it. Like I'm not scared of the violence.
No, of course not. Yeah.
I'm terrified by the anticipation of the violence.
Exactly, because you don't know when it's in a horror film. In a scary movie or horror movie that's made well, that's the whole part of it. That's that suspense and anticipation. And if it's made well, that's what gets you. It's why, in my opinion, sorry, we're going a little bit of a sidetrack here into horror movies, but in my opinion, one of the greatest horror movies in modern cinema is The Blair Witch Project, because that movie, you are on tenterhooks. You're in suspense on the edge of your seat from the first minute to the last minute. I don't know if have you seen it? Have you seen The Blair Witch Project?
I know what happens, but I've not actually sat through it.
Okay, I don't want to spoil. Do you mind?
No, I know the plot. Basically,
you think you're going to see a witch or a demon or something like that. You know, you see nothing. You don't see anything. The film ends in a very climactic moment, a very climactic scene when they get into that house, that abandoned house at the end. And it just finishes basically because it's a found footage film. It's basically the first real proper found footage movie.
I've seen enough of it, like in parodies of it,
it's
to know
basically
how they did it and what happened.
You want to watch it, Tom. If you don't like suspense, you might not enjoy it. But anyway, you need to see it. But anyway,
I've seen people snot coming at the camera through crying over it.
It's the first real found footage movie.
Yeah,
and
promoted like it was real, wasn't it? Promoted like it was nothing.
They basically, it was the first real proper sort of online, you know, marketing stuff where they actually marketed it as like people thought it was real. They were so good, so ahead of their time with the marketing. You know, people thought it was real. But anyway, it ends in a climactic scene, and you don't see a witch or a monster or anything, but it keeps you on tenterhooks, you know, in suspense until the last second. It's absolutely incredible. And my point was that really good scary movies, really horrible. That's the whole point of it. It's that suspense that you don't know what's going to happen. If you know what's going to happen, if you know where the jump's coming, or you know someone's going to turn around and see whatever. When you know what's coming, it's not as fun, it's not as good. But when they really get you off guard and you're sitting there really, you know, holding your seat, basically, that's when it's good. Yeah. And BX says Only Murders in the Building. That's the name of the Steve Martin series with Martin Short. Yeah, great.
Just to run some quick numbers, like, because AP does say, and I know we'll get that comment at some point, but obviously, according to Wikipedia, the budget for Blair Witch Project was between 200,000 and 750,000, which is obviously a lot higher than I thought it would be, because to look at it, you'd think it was made for £46.28, but the actual box office for it is 248.6 million.
Oh, they made an absolute killing on that movie, and the people who made it made hardly anything. The actors, the director, they made hardly anything. The studio had all the rights and had all everything. That was
they all
learned
lessons that day.
They ended up with everything. They ended up with Blair Witch 2, Blair Witch 3. I think maybe there was even some crazy fourth film at some point. And yeah, that was the start of the found footage genre, basically.
They rebooted it with just a Blair Witch. It could be wrong, but I believe they did.
Oh, so it's Malaysia, Kevin. Yeah, I thought it was Malaysia. Yeah, great stuff.
Yeah. Good old Sam. I thought it was Malaysia, even though it said Indonesia 8 times. I thought it was Malaysia.
they're quite close to each other. They're quite.
Yeah.
Poltergeist was another one. Yeah, that was good at keeping you scared. Candyman as well. Talking great movies. We're into a horror thing here at the moment. Yeah. And The Exorcist. Oh, one of the all-time greats for scary. My God, when that came out, that just completely shocked everyone. That's how incredible it was.
I've seen enough parodies of it again where it's basically like bring out the pea soup kind of thing.
And Bronco's a bit like you, doesn't like surprises and horror.
That is basically it. Because I know it's coming. Because we've seen enough of these movies to know that there's not going to be nothing happen, and they're gonna go with a trope where they're going to make you think at the end of this that nothing's going to happen, and then when you think nothing's going to happen, it's going to happen. Yeah. But I already know it's going to happen.
Exactly. Yeah. No, that's it. I think we're going to have I think we're starting to get some ideas for some episodes now. I think we'll have a horror movie episode, even though you might not be as enthusiastic about that. But we could probably.
I'll have things to say. I've seen movies. Like I know.
Right. Okay. We'll go through some. We'll go through some of the movies you've seen as well, and we'll talk about horror, modern horror movies and stuff. We'll do that. We'll also definitely have a games console history episode because that's a lot of that's interesting as well. In my opinion, I think we could talk a lot of good stuff about that. But anyway, we are now 1 hour and 22 minutes in. Thanks everyone for sticking with us and taking part. It's been really good. We had a really good active chat tonight. Really good contributions. Yeah, it's been fantastic. If you like what you're watching, like and subscribe as always. And I think we're going to round it off here now, Tom. There's one more last thing I want to cover because I didn't get to it at the beginning because I
was going to say, Sam, because you said you had 2 TV trailers, and I was like, right, we went off on a tangent on the first one about Stranger Things. I was sitting there about 13 minutes ago, and I know this because of the comment I was looking at when I was basically sitting there thinking, yeah, Sam, this is all great and all, but what's the second TV trailer you want to know if I've seen?
Exactly, yeah. I was nearly forgetting it, but I got back to it at the end.
I did mention it
at the beginning. As it's going to happen here in Slags of the Dark, everyone, you're just going to have to get used to it. Me and Tom, we just get into things and we start chatting and we go off on tangents and sidetracks, and it happens. We go into rabbit holes, and that's just part and parcel of what this is. So yeah. But now we're going to go back to the end. What did you say, Tom?
I'm a holy person.
Yeah, definitely. A very holy person.
I've got 5 of them. 6 of them. Anyway, what?
Anyway, we're going to take this now full circle for the episode. We're going to go back to the start. As I said, there was 2 TV series trailers. First one already mentioned, Stranger Things season 5, the final season coming in 2025. The other one I was going to mention, just wrapping up now, is I haven't seen any. I'm pretty much on social media checking things out, especially like movie news, TV series news and stuff. But this one caught me by surprise today, and I saw it today. trailer launch. I don't think it launched today. I think it must have been launched a bit earlier. But anyway, I believe it's the 18th of November. Don't shoot me if that's wrong, but on the 18th of November, new HBO series looks very intriguing. It's Dune, the HBO series.
As in from the movie, like Dune?
It's the Dune universe. It's based on, because Dune is a set story, right? A set story, that's been done twice, basically.
So it's like Star Wars, but basically, let's visit this character.
It's a Dune universe. It's the Dune universe. It's not. I don't.
The Dune-verse.
The Dune-verse. Well done, Tom. Yes, very good, very good. As far as I can tell, I don't think it's a spin-off. Or
he's probably right, BX here. It's probably right.
I don't think it's a spin-off or related to the Dune movie, trilogy that's out now with Villeneuve, the director.
The second movie was great, by the way. Like the visual effect.
Yeah,
of it.
It's visually stunning. Villeneuve is really good with that. Yeah. Really good.
The plot,
anyway. Can be a bit long.
I just wanted to see him ride the sandworm. It was fantastic.
It can be a bit long-winded, But anyway, June HBO series. I think it's called June Prophecy or something like that. I can't remember the second. Right. I can't remember the second bit of the title. I think it's Prophecy, but anyway, it's June. It's got some good actors in it. I can't remember their names now, but you'll recognize them when you see them. It looks, the trailer, this is like a 3.5 minute trailer. Check it out. It looks really, really good. That's what I was going to talk about. I was going to ask you if you've seen that and what you generally think about June, basically.
I mean, there's nothing that I've not just said. Basically, I think the visuals on that second movie, stunning. The plot is very much arbitrary and facilitates the excuse to show what Villeneuve can do, technically. Asked me to explain the intricacies of the plot, and I couldn't tell you. And I've seen both movies. There's something called Spice, and a lot of people want it. And Dave Bautista kind of defends the people that currently own it.
I do like Stellan Skarsgård as the evil fucking emperor, whatever he is, that big blob looking guy thing. Yeah, I like his character.
Yeah, Stelgard the Hutt. Basically.
I can't remember his the character name now because it's been a while since I've seen it all and everything. But yeah, I like him in that character.
Just
the big blob, the big blob. Yeah. But yeah, no, that looks good. I'm gonna be watching
Stellan Skarsgård the Hutt.
Skarsgård the Hutt, the Swedish slut, the Swedish slag, basically the blobby slag.
Well, there you go. Something that will be coming next year. I don't think there's a trailer for it yet. If it turns out there is, I haven't seen it. But they're making a television series about, I think it's coming to Disney, about Alien. Ooh. It's basically going to be like the earliest part of the Alien chronology. I think
I saw an article about that, and I'm very intrigued because I love the Alien franchise. Basically, I haven't seen the latest one. I must admit, I'll get around to seeing it at some point. But I love the Alien franchise stuff. That sounds intriguing. I'm definitely gonna be catching that when it comes.
The latest Alien movie is basically Alien: The Greatest Hits. It's full of bits where it's basically, do you remember this bit from Alien 2?
Makes sense.
Remember this bit?
It makes sense because that's what people want to see, right? That it makes sense for them to do that, like we said, following a formula and all of that.
I mean, there was one bit in it where it made absolutely no sense, really. Without spoiling it, basically one of the androids, the resident droid of the movie, turns around and basically goes to the villain. I mean, spoiler, you all know it's fucking Alien. Goes, get away from her, you bitch! And it's like, and then he looks at the camera as if go, why did I just say that? And then I'm looking at him going, why did you just say that? There's no possible way for you to know that Sigourney Weaver actually said that in 40 years' time in the chronology of the movie. You fucking invented a saying that she's going to go on to say, despite the fact that in real life it happened before this.
Like you say, it's that connection with nostalgia, isn't it? And that going to its roots, basically. That's what it's all about, isn't it?
The fact, he looks at the camera as if to go, it's half. Why did I just say that? And half, You know why I said it.
Yeah.
You forward, fucking. Anyway, sorry.
No,
I just get
that's fine,
needlessly
Tom.
agitated at things. Sorry.
That's fine, Tom. That's why you're here, for your opinions and your great insight. So yes, that's what we want. Anyway, so we're going to round off now, folks. Just going to get the last comments in here now. Just want to. So Colonel's looking for some dog names. If you have two dogs, go for Dildo and Dido or Fido. Dido's an artist. Dido's an artist. Forget about her. Dildo and Fido. That's good. Two names for dogs. What about you, Tom?
No. Name your dog Warrior.
Warrior. That's a good name.
Warrior.
Especially if it's a gremlin-looking thing. Yeah, sounds good. AP. Sorry, Tom. What were you going to say?
What's the name of the girl gremlin that appears in? I think it's Gremlins 2.
I forget now. It's a long time ago since I've seen that. But yeah, great movies. Christmas movies as well, since we were on the theme. AP, will we do football show? No, this will not be football related. We do more than enough football shows. I tell you what. Tom does his own Leeds show. Tom's a Leeds fan. He does We All Love Leeds on Sundays, 9 p.m. UK time. Check it out.
Show we do on Saturdays.
Pardon?
Tell me about the show we do on Saturdays.
And I was just going to say that. And we do, and together, Tom and I, together with Gary and Spencer, who's Bronco in the chat here, we do a show on Saturdays, 3 p.m. UK time, called The Road Trip with DWTT. Check it out. If you're following us on Twitter, we do spread the information. And you also do
into YouTube, AP, and there should be a channel with football content on there. And basically, on Saturday at 3 p.m. in the UK, the channel is owned by someone other than us, named Gary, but it's wall-to-wall football on there. It's like Soccer Saturday, but with people actually doing the Soccer Saturday job. I mean, there's a lot of people that do the job for us, like they tell us the scores and we just react to it. But
it's basically the way I explain it is basically what we do on Saturdays at 3 p.m. UK time. It's basically soccer Saturday on crack. Basically, we just sit there and have a chat and a laugh about all different stuff. Sometimes Pol Pot pays a visit. Sometimes Donald Trump pays a visit. Sometimes Pat Tate pays a visit. Sometimes Longreed with the fifth from Norway pays a visit. It's great fun. We have a good time. It's all football related. We have interact with.
No else paid a visit. No else paid a visit this week. 45 and 47.
45, 47. Mr. Trump himself. Check it out. Last Saturday's episode.
Glad you enjoyed it, AP.
And
it's mainly, if you think this is good, it's genuinely been mainly because of you lot that have made comments that have facilitated our comments. And that's basically what YouTube is. Like, I know I'm not teaching you to suck eggs, but, you know,
that's it.
It wouldn't have been as good if no one had said anything.
Exactly. So we want interaction with the chat. It drives what we talk about. We interact with you, talk with you guys what you're talking about. That's what makes the show fun, and that's what gives us different things to bounce off and talk about. It's great. Really appreciate it. And like we said, check that out on Saturdays. And Tom's also on a show called On the Stoop with Lolo on Friday nights. That's quite late UK time. But anyway, just check it all out. You'll get into our little community. We do different stuff. But we mainly do football. But this Thursday night is a little bit of a break from football. We discuss other things. Thanks, everyone. For taking part. Just a couple of last. Just going to cover couple of.
The Europa League is on. Europa. No one cares about the Europa League. Not even.
Don't care about that. Conference League. That's garbage, isn't it? 500 years before something. That's basically the new June series. I think it's a prequel, like BX says. 500 years before the movie, like normal movie starts. Great show. Thank you. Cheers, guys. And. Thanks, AP. Thanks for taking part. Really appreciate it. Everyone as well. Just want to shout out everybody, basically. We've had AP, BX, Spencer, Bronco in VA. Great. Thank you for taking part. We had Kevin pop in. I haven't seen Kevin for a long time from Malaysia.
Brownie popped in.
Thanks for popping in, Kevin. Great to see you. And Brownie, of course, down in Australia. very early in the morning over there. Thanks for popping in. Really appreciate it. Yeah, really appreciate everyone taking part, taking the time to check it out. Anyone watching this on replay, thanks for checking it on replay. Like and subscribe if you like it.
Put a comment that you did watch it in the replay. I won't see it personally, but Sam Greenwood will. And, you know, it's nice for him to know who watches the show. I should have said that about my wrestling show. I totally should have done more YouTube responsible things, but I didn't. And look where we are. So, anyway, exactly. You're in my time slot. You're in my time slot, Sam.
Your time slot. It's your territory, man.
You're in my time slot, man. And most weeks, I'd be sitting in there going, guess what? Let's have a look at the wrestlers' birthdays or whatever nonsense I'd come up with. Anyway.
PX kind of says we all witnessed Trump come on the single-handedly win the votes of the Arsenal. Oh, bloody hell. Yeah, we had fun with that. We have fun on the road trip. It's good fun. Check it out.
My favourite part of the road trip is when we do things that Gary cringes and dives inside a little bit.
That's part of the fun. We like to have a little fun with Gary and make it cringe a little bit with different stuff we say and do. It's great fun. And everyone in the chat makes it great fun as well with all the participation that they do.
Yeah. There are no clowns harmed during the road trip.
There's no clown milking happened during that show. Might happen at some point during this show because we know Tom likes to milk clowns, as we found out tonight. Well, so yeah, we'll try and keep it on the down low.
If you live in the circus, you're going to find clowns.
And as a tradition for this show, before we sign off and say good night, we have to put up this important little bit of information here. It's very important. And that is Tom is a slag and Lee's a crap. We just need to put that out there for every show, okay? And since we're signing off, I want to say thank you for joining tonight. Please like and subscribe. Really, really appreciate your participation. And Slags in the Dark. That's been episode number 1. So that's number 1 on the books. We'll be here next week, next Thursday again, 8 p.m. UK time. Thank you very much for joining us. It's been a laugh. We've had some good topics tonight, mainly stuck to movies, a little bit of TV. And Tom, anything else you want to round off with at the end?
Oh, I personally enjoyed this. It was fun, despite the fact that you're all slags. Of course you are. And turn your lights up. You know what, in future, especially easier now it's winter, basically, before you watch this show, turn your lights off, pull your curtains close. Slags in the Dark should be watched in full. But since we're talking about movies, the full movie experience, you should not watch this show with the light on. And that's not because I'm going to do the helicopter or something like that. Just, sorry, I went too much of a tangent there. I'm sorry. Slagging ain't easy, man. Slagging ain't easy.
It ain't easy, man. It ain't easy. Slagging ain't easy, as BX says. It ain't easy. That is damn sure right there. So yeah, get in the dark. Join us. This is Slags in the Dark on Thursday nights. You have fun. And as BX says,
your intro. Part of your intro should actually be, it's 8 o'clock on a Monday night. Oh, sorry, on Monday night. What plan am I on? It's 8 o'clock on a Thursday night. Draw your curtains, turn off your lights. It's time for Slags in the Dark, or we're gonna have a fight.
We're gonna have to do an intro with that. We're gonna have to go into the show with that. That's great. Yeah. So thanks for joining us, everyone. Slags in the Dark. You're all slags. And as BX says, slag you guys later. We'll see you next week. Cheers. Thank you. Bye-bye.